After my experience with Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo's hardest difficulty, I realized the CPU just doesn't care. It will read everything you do and show no mercy. However, I wanted to play a different Street Fighter Alpha 2. This time around I went in with the expectation of being cheesed, being robbed, but things went differently this time. In order to attempt this, I went ahead and just went with Ryu. I don't know no combos or nothing for real, but them fundamentals, that's all you need. My first challenge would be Birdie, and it took one match for me to realize what I just got myself into. This man can launch himself full screen, and in any grab he does, that's 30-40% of your health. If you block it or evade it, he'll just do another one. Couldn't generate no type of offense up close because his grab was ridiculous. So my best bet was to stay as far away as possible and use my heavy fireball to zone him out. I used the heavy one because it travels the fastest. You know, when he revs up his engine and just goes from 0 to 75 miles per hour and hits me across the screen, you know, the fireball can keep up. You see what I'm saying? When I could, I'd burn the meter for my level 1 fireball too, since sometimes they'll catch him mid-charge. I threw in some sweeps to also punish the charge he does on block, and I was able to get past him with a couple attempts. Next up was Rolento, and if Birdie has crazy horizontal movement, this man has crazy diagonal movement. He dashes and darts all around the screen, so zoning just wasn't gonna cut it no more. His staff gives him a lot of range too, so I can't just walk up and slump him either. So the answer here would be to just play defensive and DP, but no, he just simply moves too fast for me to react to with a DP. So my alternative was just to use standing medium punch instead. This took a long time to get down because his jump angles are so weird and it's so fast. Listen, eventually I got it down, threw about 6,000 fireballs, got some lucky hits even when I missed the anti-air, but we was good. Now it's Guy's turn, and this man got some unreleased J's. I digress. Anyway, you see how he just walks up on you like he's that guy? He's not. In fact, he literally just walks into any attack you throw at him. After dealing with Rolento and Birdie, I was more than glad to face this man. I beat him in just 2 attempts. Next is Gin. In first match, he seemed easy. Like a little too easy. Everything was going well on my end. My initial strategy was working, I was good. Then he hit me with a super. It was at that moment I realized the potential issue in my hands. As soon as he uses his meter, he just clutches up. He goes from one side to the other in a blink. He gets a vile cross up. He's bouncing off the walls. I can't even tell what he's about to do most of the time, honestly. Being defensive and punishing against this wasn't getting me anywhere, especially since his jump angles were so weird. Not even a standing heavy kick could anti-air him, even though it looks like the perfect angle to do so. So instead of being defensive, I did the opposite. I got aggressive and used jump medium kick as much as I could. If he blocked the jump in, I'd go for a sweep. If I landed the sweep, I'd go for a cross up. Rinse and repeat. This took a hot minute to work though, because some matches he'll just anti-air everything, and other matches he'll just magically get out a hit stun and hit me. What is up with everybody and having crazy movement in this game? I don't get it. Adon is yet another fighter that got some wild movement and his buttons reach far. And he has plenty of built-in evasion on a lot of his moves. And he has a full screen dive kick too, so he's just an overall joy to fight. I'm just enjoying life. It genuinely feels like he has everything but a fireball. I couldn't get the hang of when to anti-air him nor where my jump in is working. Him just doing normal specials will both evade my fireballs and my sweeps because of his jumping arc. Going for cross-ups, I just get DP'd. It looked like I hit my first real wall in this playthrough. However, after losing to this man countless amounts of times, I realized he doesn't go low. The only time he really only goes low is if he does a sweep, which rarely happens anyway. So my new strat was just to hold back and put myself in the corner the whole match, which is something I don't think I would ever think to do in any other situation in a fighting game, but here we are. The AI would see this and just kind of be stumped for the most part, but the issue now was how to hit him. Fireballs, DPs, sweeps, my standing heavy kick, and lights just didn't work. But the one button that did was the standing medium punch. I can use it as a punish and as an anti-air. The main thing I was really hoping for here was that he just empty jumps over top of me while I'm in the corner. Punishing his knee with the standing medium punch would be hit or miss. Sometimes it'd land, sometimes he'd block it, sometimes he'd get a crazy match and I lose, you know, my entire health bar, things of that nature. But after many attempts, my reaction started to adjust and Adon was beaten. After all these opponents with crazy movement, now finally came somebody normal. After dealing with what I just dealt with, my muscle memory was all out of whack. As soon as the match started, I was just holding back and using anti-airs. But once I snapped out of the trance, I realized Ken was just pressing buttons. He would constantly do the most unsafe moves possible, no matter if he was right next to me or if he was full screen. Spamming DPs, spamming Tatsus, anything you could think of, just left and right. He just like me for real. Anyway, he ran into every fireball and sweep thrown at him and got cooked in one attempt. I'm not even gonna give this man an intro. Just look at this sequence. This is the very first match, by the way.
Round 1, fight!
Sagat's AI is just, he matches every fireball thrown at him. He zones extremely well. He DPs out of jump-ins and cross-ups. He just ruins everything. And now I'm right back in the trenches. Naturally, I went back to my turtling strategy I had against Adon, except this time I blocked low, since his AI just loves to spam low fireballs and sweeps. But now it turned into a waiting game of when I could punish him with a sweep myself. The AI would just catch on to this out the blue sometimes, and they'll just start hitting me with jump-ins, and now they mixing me in the corner, and now I'm just down horrendous. I had to start taking risks and bait him to do punishable moves on top of constantly blocking low. So basically I was doing a whole lot of meaties and shimmies to try and get him to do anything, but it didn't end there. It just didn't, because now the issue is that if he has meter and he reads one of my sweeps, you might as well look forward to the next round. So as more attempts went by, I just started to realize that even if this strategy can work, I need more damage to compete with him. In between sweeps and when he was full screen, I would try my best to time a super, because none of Sagat's fireballs is beating Ryu's double fireball. So whenever it didn't land, I was just sad as hell, I'm not gonna lie. But eventually, the muscle memory started kicking in, the execution started to kick in, I was getting it more consistently, I was getting the timing down a lot more after the sweep, everything clicked, and Sagat was defeated. This was by far the hardest fight I've had to deal with this whole run. After what I just went through, this was the last face I wanted to see. At this point in the game, the CPU was just gonna match the fireball I throw every single time. Akuma's fireball isn't as scary as Sagat's because he doesn't have a low version. Not only that, but Akuma's evasion just wasn't on the same level as Adon's to me, as he was a lot easier to punish. At this point, I'm thinking I've already experienced the worst. You're not as bad as those other two guys. I'm good. I just need a couple of attempts. I'll be straight. I'll be good. I thought I saw crazy damage with other opponents. Akuma was on a different level. But still, even with this, he just felt beatable. Spamming fireballs would just build my meter, so I was fine with the fireball war going on since I could just use my super right afterwards. Punishing him with medium kick or sweep worked for everything else. Though I had this strat, and it sounds really easy, Akuma still did Akuma things and would just ruin my day. The more and more I attempted to beat Akuma, he started to seem a lot more challenging. You know, jumping fireballs, wake up DPs, cross ups, confirms into supers, but nuclear damage, it was starting to look a little bleak. However, fireballs would eventually get to him. I was starting to punish his unsafe moves a lot more consistently. Everything came together and Akuma was finally defeated. I now was preparing mentally to go against M. Bison, but without even realizing it, my run was over. So once I saw the ending screen, I couldn't believe my odds, I'm not gonna lie. The run was really over. I out-cheesed the cheesy CPU